Hey YouTube, so going back to this Kastking Kapstan 300 fishing reel, just a little recap of my fishing trip that I had with it. I had previously fished the area and knew that there was redfish in the area. I could see them. So I tried artificial lures first, and I caught a few. But when you can see the fish and see how they react to the lures, you can kind of make a pretty good determination on how they're acting. And during that time, they weren't very aggressive towards the lures. I was able to catch a few, but not very many. So I elected then to switch to cut bait or live bait, and that was the right decision. It gave them enough time to sense or smell or react to the bait being in their area, and I was able to get a lot more strikes a lot quicker that way. So I threw a popping cork setup, an Alameda popping cork in the video with a treble hook and a little 1/8 ounce split shot, 50-pound test, fluoro leader from the cork down, about 24 inches long. And this reel casted it really, really good. I was in a situation where the tide was going out and the wind was coming from the opposite direction that the tide was headed towards. So I had a crisscross current and wind condition, and my boat was positioned perpendicular to that. So line control was pretty tough that day, and also casting was pretty tough. And I was able to throw this reel into the wind without any kind of backlash issues. I threw it crosswind. I threw it many times left-handed just due to the position of the boat and the way that I was drifting. Boat control was tough because I couldn't use a drift sock because the current would literally drag the boat the wrong direction. So I was on the trolling motor the entire time to control the boat position. And between all that and just having to cast at different angles, left-handed, right-handed, side casting, overhead, into the wind, crosswind, downwind, it really did good. And it really cast a long ways. I can throw an 1/8 ounce jig head with soft plastic on it a very, very long ways. So I'm very impressed with the reel. I really like it on this rod. I have 2 more of these rods, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 more reels to put on them. And the only thing I'm going to say is I haven't had it very long. So in the salt water, I've yet to see how it holds up, but it has a good crisp feel to it. Seems to do really well. One thing I recommend with any reel that you can use in the salt water is to brush the internals with Corrosion X, which I buy here at my local HEB grocery store. And it does a good job protecting the inside of the reels to where I don't really have problems with them. So I went ahead and did that to this reel, just to help with longevity and the salty conditions. So that's the reel. I'm pleased with it. I really enjoyed using it. I didn't really catch any really, really big reds, but I did wind up catching my slot size limit. So I had 9 undersized reds and 3 slot size reds that I took home with me. But I do have confidence that it would easily handle a larger, like a bull redfish of substantial size, because even with the slot reds, it hardly, the drag is strong enough. I mean, basically it comes down to the pole and the line that you have. It's a really strong reel as far as handling big fish. So it was perfect. I really like it. I think it's a good product. The price is right on it. And I can't wait to use it some more. So that's the reel, and a little bit of updates on where I'm at. I recently got my captain's license through the United States Coast Guard. I currently carry a 50-ton master's captain's license with a towing endorsement. So if you'd like to fish along with me, I'm going to be offering some guided fishing trips. You can contact me and I can get you some pricing and time availability if it's something that you're interested in. If you're a fishing guide that fishes tournaments and you book up, or you have too many clients and you need some help, I'd be happy to help you. If you have a boat that you need transported somewhere, you know, let's say you purchased a boat somewhere and you need it moved from a harbor to your home harbor or vice versa, you know, maybe you sold a boat, I can help you with that. Also, not just for fishing, but you know, things like if you come down to South Texas in the Aransas Pass area, if you want to go look at dolphins, we can do that. Just sightsee, I'd be happy to take you on the boat. We could work something out. The 4th of July, for January 1st, you know, there's a lot of fireworks on the coastline that can be viewed from the water from the boat. If that's interesting to you, you know, we could do something like that too. So there's a lot of things that you know, to get you out on the water to enjoy time with your friends and family, and that's what I'm looking to do with my license, is to just get people out on the water and involved and enjoy the outdoors, you know. And so that's my captain's license. And then one other thing I want to touch on in my video, you know, a lot of people ask me, you know, that fish with me, like, how can you see how do you know there's a fish there? And the only thing I can say is, you know, I used to have a hard time seeing the fish in the water myself, and I switched to a Costa set of sunglasses. And a lot of people don't realize it, because just looking at them, you know, you really can't tell, but these are actually a prescription sunglasses from Costa, and they're polarized, and they really do make a difference on what you can see in the water. I really don't know how any other way to describe it. You know, it's not just a name brand to me, it actually made a difference in my fishing. So I'm a really big fan of these glasses. I highly recommend them. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not affiliated. You know, I'm just a regular consumer like anybody else out there that picked these up, and I'm just stating that using these polarized glasses did make a difference in my fishing. So I recommend those to anybody that's going to be doing any sight fishing, and also wear their prescription regular glasses. I think they make a good looking frame. So I like to, you know, wear the products that I enjoy and support them, and I think this new Kapstan reel is going to be one of those products. I really like it, and I hope to get some more use with it. So hope everyone's having a good summer, and I'll hope to be making some more videos and share some of my adventures on the water with you guys. So y'all take care and good luck. Hey guys, this is my Kapstan 300 fishing reel review, and I guess to start it off, I'm not going to do any kind of unboxing or anything. I mean, I've already had this reel out and fished with it. I really don't care what kind of package it comes in, as long as it shows up not damaged, and of course it did. Showed up to my home boxed up perfectly, so I'm not going to get into all that detail. There's other people that will do that, I'm sure, in other reviews, but I'm going to primarily focus on functionality and use. There's a little seagrass on it, testament to the use I've already got, and I'll leave a link. I did a 2-hour fishing trip with this reel where I caught a total of 12 redfish and 2 trout in 2 hours, and 9 of the redfish were undersized. 3 of them were my slot limit for the state of Texas regulation limit. So it was a fun trip, a lot of action, caught a lot of fish. and the reel worked just perfect for me. The drag system on it is plenty strong to handle redfish, although I didn't catch any like really big ones. You know, I did catch quite a few, and I have confidence that it would handle larger fish without any issues. The drag clicks and engages with a good feel. The drum brake also has a small clicking device in it to let you know that you're making an adjustment. It has an adjustable braking system behind this plate, and to open that you simply twist this cam lock to the open position, and this whole slide plate comes off. I've seen somebody else online already go through all that, so I'm not going to tear it apart. This deal here is just a line pound test chart. So I have 30-pound test on it, and you can see there that I've got the arrow pointed at it, just to help you remember what pound test line you have on this reel, which I like, because I like it enough that I'm gonna try to go ahead and purchase 2 more of these. I have 2 more rods just like this, and I have it paired on a Wright and McGill by Eagle Claw, Blair Wiggins Addictive Fishing rod. This is a 7'9" model, moderate power, and it's rated for 10 to 25 pound test line. I've got 30. You could run heavier. I've even caught red snapper with this rod, so it's a good saltwater heavy duty rod. One thing I will say about this rod is that it doesn't have a full bed support for your reel seat. So I've actually had a reel crack and break in this area before on this rod. It was a smaller off-brand reel, so it didn't really surprise me. It was inexpensive, but it was disappointing. This Kastking has a much longer reel bed to it, and this seat, you can see that there's an air cushion there, you know, doesn't really supply all that great of support to your rod bed with that gap in there. So the longer reel bed on this Kastking reel really helped strengthen up the feel of this reel on the rod and made it feel strong and sturdy to me, unlike what I was using. So I really like that. I think the drag's rated up to like 30-pound test. It's got a good size handle to it with foam knobs, which I like. The color's nice. The silver and black I like, because that kind of goes with just about any rod you could have. I mean, this is kind of a wild color rod here. And also, I will say too, you know, I really like this rod by Eagle Claw. And although, you know, I think Captain Blair Wiggins is with Lew's now, I believe. So Eagle Claw no longer makes this line of rods under his signature series, but Eagle Claw does still make these rods. They're just not a Blair Wiggins line, and I think the only difference is maybe the eyes, and I believe they have a different handle. I think they now have a cork handle arrangement, so you can still get these rods, and I really like them because they make an 8-foot spinning rod one piece that I really like, and it's hard to find 8-foot rods. This is a 7'9" casting rod. I think it's the longest bait casting rod they make in this line. They still come in the blue color, I believe, from Eagle Claw. So I'll try to leave a link in that description, because I don't know that people realize that these rods are still available. They're just not labeled through Captain Blair Wiggins. But I like the Eagle Claw rod. It goes really good with this Kapstan 300 bait cast reel, and I have a 30-pound test off-brand braid that I've put on it, and it's done really good. Cast good, cast far. You know, I'm just overly satisfied with the reel itself. And like I said, I'll leave a description to the video where you can actually see me using it, because I think that's more important than really just sitting here talking about it. So you can see it in use, decide for yourself, and I hope that I have a good experience with this reel, and I'm looking forward to fishing some more with it. Hey YouTube, sorry, I don't mean to jumble this up too much, but I just wanted to add that I took a second trip with the Kapstan 300, and it was another good red fishing trip, and had a lot more activity to the trip in general, caught a lot more fish. So I really got a chance to put it through its paces and load it up with some nicer sized redfish. And I just want to report back that it did excellent, and it's meeting all my expectations. It casts beautifully. You know, I've already given a breakdown of the first trip that I had with it, and the second trip was a little different conditions. It was a lot windier. The current and the wind, instead of opposing each other, were both headed in the same direction. We had a strong incoming tide versus an outgoing current. So it was, you know, just altogether different. Boat control was a lot harder that second round. I had to run both of my drift socks at the same time and use the trolling motor, you know, so it was a big challenge to keep the boat positioned just right for us as we went along fishing, and and to do that and to maintain, you know, the fishing and not have any kind of backlashes, tangles, or hiccups with the reel was a big plus for me. So I really enjoy this rod. I've got it sitting here next to a Bass Pro Shops qualifier. This reel's a few years old. I use it mainly as a crankbait reel for bass fishing in freshwater lakes. But I just brought it here for just so you could get a good size comparison, you know, because I don't know that people realize necessarily, I'm not sure that people realize necessarily the actual size difference with this Kastking Kapstan 300. It's a pretty good size reel, and the reason why that's so beneficial to me is we have a lot of fresh Gulf water in our area that comes in. You know, we have an inlet, a main shipping lane that comes through our area, so we get fresh water from the Gulf. The chances of you catching a bull drum are high. The chances of catching something exotic like a tarpon, you know, that chance is there. You know, you just a jackfish, a big one, you know, ling. There's kingfish that get around our inlets, Spanish mackerel, sharks. You just never really know what you're going to catch. So having the extra line capacity on a reel that has such a drag rating in a small package like this for inshore in my area is absolutely ideal. So with that said, you know, I think that's about it. As far as the details of the reel, you can look online. Some other folks have some more in-depth, you know, unboxing details or spec details on line capacity. You can look that up, I'm sure, on the Kastking's website. But overall, just usability and getting out on the water and functionality, that's what I'm reporting on mainly. And I'm just reporting back that I'm overly pleased with this reel, and I can't wait to fish with it some more. So with that said, I think that's going to conclude my information on this Kastking, and I'm sure you'll see me using it in a lot more videos to come. So thanks everybody. I hope y'all are all having a good summer out there, and tight lines.